You don't get paid for the hour. You get paid for the value you bring to the hour. Jim Rohn, let's start with a truth that can completely transform your financial future. You are not paid for your time. You are paid for the value you deliver in that time. Most people believe the opposite. They think income is directly tied to hours worked. The more hours, the more pay. Work 40 hours a week, get 40 hours of pay. Work 60 hours, get 60 hours of pay. But if that were true, the hardest working people in the world would also be the richest. And we both know that's not the case. There are people who work 12-hour shifts every day and barely survive financially, while others work fewer hours and create enormous wealth. The difference is not in the time, it's in the value. Jim Rohn explained it simply. If you want more money, don't just work more hours. Work on becoming more valuable. That means increasing your skills, your knowledge, your problem-solving ability, your leadership capacity, and your ability to produce results. Think about it like this. If you're paid $20 an hour and you want to earn $50 an hour, your goal is not to negotiate for more payouts to increase your value so much that your work is worth $50 an hour to someone. Value is what the marketplace rewards. The marketplace doesn't care about your needs, your rent, or your bills. It cares about results. If you can deliver more value, solve bigger problems, and create greater outcomes, you will naturally earn more. That's why two people in the same company, working the same hours, can have completely different salaries. The one who brings more value through leadership, efficiency, innovation, or expertise earns more. But here's the beauty. Value can be increased. If you can learn one new skill that saves your company thousands of dollars a month, you become more valuable. If you can develop leadership skills that inspire a team to perform at a higher level, you become more valuable. If you can master communication so well that you close bigger deals or win bigger clients, you become more valuable. And when you become more valuable, your income reflects it. So the question isn't, how many hours should I work? The question is, how valuable can I become? Time is fixed. You only get 24 hours in a day. Value, however, is limitless. Jim Rohn said it best. Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. The better you get, the better your value, and the better your value, the better your rewards. It's time to stop thinking like an hourly worker and start thinking like a person who's building value equity. Because when you master value, you master the marketplace. If you've ever been inside a company, you've seen what I call the value ladder, a hierarchy of contribution. At the bottom rung are people doing simple, repetitive tasks that require minimal decision-making or expertise. At the top are people solving high-level problems, making major decisions, and taking on significant responsibility. And here's the obvious truth. The higher up you go on the value ladder, the greater the rewards. This is why an entry-level worker might earn $15 an hour, while a senior executive earns $150 an hour. It's not because the executive works harder physically. It's because their decisions carry far more weight and create much larger results. Now, here's the secret Jim Rohn would always emphasize. Climbing the value ladder is a choice. It doesn't happen automatically. It requires intentional skill development, personal growth, and a willingness to take on more responsibility. Think of the value ladder as having three main steps. Step 1. Competence at this level. You learn to do your job well. You become reliable, consistent, and accurate. This is where most people stop. They learn just enough to keep their job, but never enough to rise above it. Step 2. Mastery here. You don't just do the job, you improve it. You find faster ways to achieve results. You solve recurring problems, and you make yourself indispensable. You understand the why behind the work, not just the how. Step 3. Leadership and problem solving at the top of the ladder are those who can think strategically, make high-impact decisions, and lead others to produce greater results. They are problem solvers, not just task doers. This is where the biggest rewards are, and here's the beauty. You can start climbing today. If you want to earn more, stop thinking, I deserve more because I've been here longer. Instead, start asking, how can I add more value than anyone else in this position? Jim Rohn used to say, for things to change, you have to change. For things to get better, you have to get better. That's the whole game, becoming more valuable by becoming a better version of yourself. Here's a quick exercise. Identify the one skill that, if mastered, would make you twice as valuable in your current role. Dedicate the next 90 days to mastering that skill. Track how it changes the way people see you and the results you produce. You'll be surprised how fast you start climbing that ladder when you focus on value creation instead of time spent. Because in the marketplace, you're not paid for the years you've worked. You're paid for the value you bring today. Jim Rohn used to break down personal growth into a simple but powerful formula. He said, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Why? Because if you grow, your income, opportunities, and influence will naturally grow with you. And he boiled it down to 4 pillars that multiply your personal value. 1. Knowledge. Learn more to earn more. Every skill you learn, every insight you gain adds to your earning power. The person who knows how will always have a job, but the person who knows why will be the boss. Ask yourself, when was the last time I invested in learning something new? Most people stop learning the day they leave school. But in a fast-changing world, if you're not learning, you're falling behind. Practical step. Read 1 book a month in your field. Listen to podcasts during your commute. Turn your downtime into learning time. 2. Skills become irreplaceable. Knowledge is potential power, but skills are power in action. If you can do something valuable that few others can do, the marketplace will always reward you. Skills are like tools in a toolbox. The more tools you have, the more problems you can solve. And the person who can solve problems quickly and effectively is worth their weight in gold. Practical step. Identify 1 high-value skill in your industry, sales, coding, design, negotiation, leadership, and commit to becoming top 10% in it. 3. Mindset. Your inner world creates your outer world. If you believe you can't, you won't. If you believe you can, you'll find a way. Mindset is about seeing opportunities instead of obstacles, lessons instead of failures. A strong mindset turns setbacks into stepping stones. Without it, even the best opportunities will slip through your fingers because you'll sabotage them with fear or doubt. Practical step. Every morning, ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today that moves me closer to my goals? Then do it before anything else. 4. Character trust is the ultimate currency. You can have all the skills in the world, but without integrity, you'll lose it all. The marketplace values consistency, honesty, and dependability. As Jim said, success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Character is built by keeping your word, showing up on time, and delivering what you promise. Practical step. For the next 30 days, keep every promise you make, especially to yourself. When you invest in these 4 pillars, knowledge, skills, mindset, and character, you don't just get better at your job, you become the kind of person success can't ignore. Jim Rohn often said, success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. The truth is, big transformations don't usually come from huge, dramatic changes. They come from small, consistent actions compounded over time. Why small disciplines matter? Think of it this way. If you eat a candy bar today, nothing dramatic happens. You don't suddenly get unhealthy. If you skip the gym today, you won't instantly lose all your strength. But over weeks, months, years, the effects become visible. Small disciplines work in the same way, except in your favor. Doing a little bit every day creates a momentum that compounds into extraordinary results. Jim called this the slight edge, the tiny advantage you gain when you choose a positive action over a negative or neutral one. The magic of compounding. Imagine improving just 1% every day. That sounds tiny, but over a year, that's not 365% better. It's over 37 times better, thanks to compounding. Here's the key: compounding works both ways. Small positive disciplines lead to success. Small negative habits lead to decline. Every day, you're either getting closer to your dreams or further away. There's no standing still. How to build the right daily disciplines. Start small. Win big. Don't try to overhaul your life overnight. Pick one small habit that supports your bigger goals. If you want to get fit, start with a 10-minute walk a day. If you want to build wealth, start saving $5 a day. Make it easy to do right. Willpower is overrated. Set up your environment so success is the easiest option. Keep healthy snacks at eye level. Keep your book on the nightstand. Remove distractions from your workspace. Track your wins. Success loves clarity. Write down your daily wins, no matter how small. Over time, seeing your progress will motivate you to keep going. Pair habits with existing routines. Attach your new habit to something you already do. For example, after brushing your teeth in the morning, you spend 5 minutes reading. The time will pass anyway. Jim would remind his audience. 5 years from now, you're going to arrive. The question is, arrive where? The time will pass whether you act or not. The only difference will be whether you've been building or wasting those small daily disciplines. Success is not built in a day, it's built daily, and the earlier you start stacking small wins, the sooner you'll see those overnight results people will call lucky, without realizing it was discipline all along. Jim Rohn was famous for saying, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." It's a powerful reminder that your environment, both people and places, plays a massive role in your success or failure. Why environment matters. Humans are influence-driven creatures. You may think you're making choices purely on logic, but much of what you do is shaped by the standards, habits, and expectations of those around you. If your friends value health, you'll likely eat better and stay active. If your colleagues prioritize learning, you'll likely grow faster in knowledge and skill. Conversely, if you're surrounded by negativity, laziness, or constant complaining, it will rub off on you, even if you think it won't. Jim used to say, "Don't join an easy crowd, you won't grow. Go where the expectations and the demands are high." 3 layers of your environment. The people you allow in your circle. These are the voices you hear most often. Ask yourself, do they challenge me, inspire me, or drag me down? You don't need to cut everyone off, but you do need to limit the time and energy you give to those who don't align with your future. The places you spend your time, environments have energy. A library feels different from a nightclub. A gym feels different from a couch. Choose places that naturally push you toward your goals. The ideas you feed your mind, books, podcasts, videos, these are part of your mental environment. Garbage in, garbage out, growth in, growth out. Upgrading your environment. Audit your influences. Make a list of the top 5 people, top 5 places, and top 5 content sources you interact with most. Then ask, are these helping or hurting me? Seek out growth circles. Join communities where learning, discipline, and achievement are the norm. You'll grow simply by keeping up. Limit negative input. That might mean less news, less gossip, less time with chronic complainers. Create a success space, whether it's your desk, your bedroom, or your car. Keep it clean and inspiring. The temperature analogy: if you want to boil water, you need heat 212 degrees F, 100 degrees C. If your environment keeps you at 70 degrees F, you'll never boil. The same goes for your goals. If your surroundings are lukewarm, you'll never reach the heat of momentum. Surround yourself with people and places that raise your temperature. Jim's challenge to his audience was simple: be so determined to grow that your environment has no choice but to rise with you. If your environment doesn't inspire you, it's time to build one that does. Jim Rohn often warned, neglect starts as an infection. Ignore it long enough and it becomes a disease. We tend to think failure comes from one big catastrophic mistake, but in truth, it usually comes from a series of small, uncorrected errors in judgment repeated over time. Neglect is silent at first. When you skip the gym once, nothing happens. When you eat one unhealthy meal, you don't suddenly gain 20 pounds. When you avoid reading one day, your mind doesn't instantly get dull. But here's the danger: nothing happens at first. That's why neglect is dangerous. It's quiet, it whispers, it's fine. You can catch up later. The compound effect of neglect. Jim used to say, failure is simply a few errors in judgment, repeated every day. Neglect compounds over time, just like discipline does. The difference: discipline compounds into reward, neglect compounds into regret. Every skipped workout, every avoided opportunity, every day spent procrastinating. They stack up until one day you wake up and realize you're years behind where you could have been. The 5 costs of neglect. Lost time. Time is the one resource you never get back. Neglect wastes it. Lost opportunity. Doors close when you don't act. Some never open again. Lost skills. What you don't practice, you lose. Lost confidence. Every time you neglect a promise to yourself, you erode your self-belief. Lost potential. Perhaps the worst cost. You never become who you could have been. How to reverse neglect. Catch it early. The earlier you notice a pattern of neglect, the easier it is to fix. Set a minimum standard even on your worst days. Have a non-negotiable standard you won't fall below. For example, 10 minutes of reading, a quick workout, or one productive task. Track your progress. Neglect hides in the shadows. When you track your habits, you shine a light on them. Surround yourself with accountability. If you struggle to keep promises to yourself, find people who will hold you to them. The farmer analogy: if a farmer neglects his crops for a week, the weeds don't just pause, they multiply. Nature rewards diligence and punishes neglect. Your life is no different. Every area: health, relationships, finances, needs tending. Jim said it plainly: the pain of discipline is nothing compared to the pain of regret. Neglect is easy, but so is discipline. The difference is that discipline pays you back many times over, while neglect collects interest you can't afford to pay. Jim Rohn often said, success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. It's not about doing everything right. It's about doing the right things consistently. Small, positive actions create momentum, and momentum is the invisible force that carries you further than you thought possible. Momentum works both ways. There are 2 types of momentum. Success momentum, where each victory fuels the next. Failure momentum, where each act of neglect makes the next neglect easier. The beautiful part: you get to decide which one you build. Why daily matters more than intensity. You don't have to spend 3 hours at the gym every day to get fit. You don't have to read 10 books a week to be wise. You don't have to save 50% of your paycheck to become financially free. What matters most is consistencies. Small, daily deposits into the bank account of your future. It's like pushing a heavy flywheel. At first, it feels impossible, but with each push, it moves faster until it's nearly unstoppable. 3 daily disciplines that change everything. Feed your mind. Read something valuable for at least 10-30 minutes a day. Your mind is the seedbed of every result in your life. Plant the right seeds. Move your body. Physical energy fuels mental clarity. You don't need to be an athlete. You just need to move. Plan your day. Even 5 minutes of intentional planning can save you hours of wasted time. The law of slight edge. Jim's teachings echo what's often called the slight edge principle. The small things you do or fail to do each day determine whether you drift toward success or failure. Brushing your teeth once doesn't prevent cavities. Doing it every day does. Saving $1 won't make you wealthy. Doing it every day will. It's the tiny habits repeated without fail that change the trajectory of your life. Protect your momentum once you have momentum. Guard it like a treasure. Avoid breaks. The longer you stop, the harder it is to restart. Stay accountable. Momentum thrives in the presence of encouragement and expectation. Celebrate wins. Even small victories fuel the emotional energy to keep going. The snowball effect. Think of your progress like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it's small, slow, and awkward to push, but as it gathers snow, it gets bigger, and eventually its own weight does the work for you. That's why Jim Rohn's advice was simple. Don't start big, start small, but don't stop. Momentum is your best friend in life. Build it, feed it, and watch it carry you to heights you once thought were out of reach. Jim Rohn often reminded his audiences that change doesn't happen in the future. It happens the moment you decide. Not next year, not next month, not even next Monday. Now, the power of one decision, a single decision made with commitment, can change the entire direction of your life. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be genuine. The day you decide, I will take full responsibility for my life. I will no longer let my excuses lead me. I will live intentionally, not accidentally. That day becomes your turning point. Your future is hidden in your daily choices. Jim would often say, you cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. That means if you've been drifting, you can correct course today. It might take time before you see the results, but you will feel the difference instantly. Imagine your life like a ship on the ocean. If you change its direction by even 1 degree, at first it doesn't seem like much. But given time, you end up on an entirely different shore. How to lock in your transformation. Write down your commitments. Don't trust your memory. Write down exactly what you're committing to and why it matters. Create your environment for success. Remove temptations. Add reminders. And surround yourself with people who make you better. Review and adjust weekly. Don't wait a year to see if you're on track. Check in with yourself often. The courage to begin, the discipline to continue it, takes courage to start and discipline to stay the course. But here's the good news. Discipline becomes easier when you start seeing progress, and progress begins the moment you start. And yes, there will be setbacks, days you feel unmotivated, days you question if it's worth it. But remember, don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Life rewards the persistent, the ones who keep showing up even when it's inconvenient, even when it's uncomfortable. Your call to action today, decide to become the person who reads a little every day, learns something every day, moves closer to their goals every day. Because success is not one big leap, it's 1,000 tiny steps taken with purpose. The closing reminder. Jim Rohn's words echo in my mind as I close this message to you. For things to change, you have to change. For things to get better, you have to get better. You are one decision away from a new life. Don't let this moment pass without taking it. The future is waiting for you, but it won't wait forever. Start now, stay consistent, become unstoppable.